There is nothing more boring and irritating and frustrating than promising yourself that you are going to become the best version of yourself every single damn year and not living up to that promise that you make to yourself. There is genuinely nothing more frustrating. I have been in this situation many a time before. I used to always set New Year's resolutions and I always used to have all of these goals to become the best version of myself and create an abundant life of my dreams. But it was all just a dream. It was all just something that I thought about and I daydreamed about and I made vision boards about, but I didn't actually take any action to get there, and I wondered why I wasn't getting there. That's all gonna change because in this video I am gonna share with you guys exactly the tips that I have implemented in my own life to actually change my life and build the life of my dreams. And I'm still getting there. I'm still working on a lot of things, as we all should be, but I have truly changed my life around from this time last year. If you look back on any of my old videos, any of the videos at the beginning of this year, I am quite literally having a mental breakdown, and I feel like I have genuinely changed that around. So I want to share with you guys all of my tips. Dopamine reset. I think we are all in need of a good old dopamine reset after the summer. I think all of us tend to fall into overindulgence and a lot of pleasure over the summer. We're doing a lot of joyous things, and then when we're going through this transition of summer to autumn, it can kind of feel very alarming and stressful because it's like we're still mentally in summer, like we're still vibing, we're still enjoying, we've gotten used to overindulging and doing things that we want to do and maybe being out of a routine, but the seasons are changing, the nights are getting longer, the days are getting shorter, and seasonal depression kicks in. So we have to roll with it and we have to kind of flow with the waves of the seasons. Otherwise, we are going to remain stuck. If we are trying to have this summer mentality going into this period of our life, into this season, we are going to find that we are feeling very resistant and very stuck and probably a little bit depressed. Because I'm not going to lie guys, the past few weeks have been so depressing. I would say since the beginning of September, I have been so sad and depressed, and I think it's basically what I described a second ago of not being ready to leave summer yet, but autumn is creeping around and I'm not ready for it. So yeah, it's been a difficult transition for me, and I think all of us have been going through it. But in order to cope with this transition, we are all in need of a dopamine reset. I had gotten to the point, right, where I was just so dependent on TikTok and social media, and I constantly needed to be listening to something. I constantly needed to have a YouTube video on in the background, or be watching a show, or playing fucking Dress to Impress. I was needing to do something all the time, and I was really trying to block out my feelings. I was really trying to deny that autumn is here now, and it was just making me so sad, I'm not gonna lie. In the summer, we can get away with the overindulgence and all of the things that we're doing, the lack of routine, because the sun's out, the sun is giving us energy, it's restoring us naturally. That is our time where we can just kind of let go and be free, and it doesn't feel so traumatizing, but it doesn't feel that way in the autumn time because we don't have as much sunshine and we don't have as long of days as we do in the summer. We basically don't have the tools and the facilities to deal with all of that dopamine and all of that pleasure. So I'm gonna get to the point again, but dopamine reset. We need to have a dopamine reset. We need to, I would say, take extreme measures such as deleting TikTok, deleting any social media that you know drains your time and you know that you naturally resort back to, and just seeing how you get on for, let's say, a week. Give it a week where you just delete everything. You maybe swap TikTok and things like that with something that is not quite so stimulating and not quite so dopamine inducing, such as maybe reading. Reading has been something for me that I have really found helpful during this time of having a dopamine reset, because let's be honest, when you're having a dopamine reset, it's a little bit boring. It really is, and you kind of can feel a little bit lost and like, oh my god, what the fuck do I do with myself? So you have to kind of make things to do, like make alternatives to do, in order to make it a little bit easier for yourself and find natural ways to boost your dopamine in a way that it's not going to spike and crash. So that could be going for a long walk, reading, journaling, making a home-cooked hearty meal. I've been loving making soup at the minute. That is just my vibe. I'm on that autumn vibe. It could even be watching long form content if you are used to watching short form content. Like, it's as simple as that. I find that I'm not as easily stimulated by long form content because you kind of have to stick it out, you have to watch to the end, and it's a longer process and blah blah blah. And I think it's good to kind of train your brain and your attention span to enjoy that kind of content. So if that is something that you have been struggling with and you feel like you're really struggling with the transition from summer to autumn and you just want to get on track and feel good again, you need to have that dopamine reset. Otherwise, you're just going to feel depressed. I'm not going to lie. Secondly, manage your energy levels. In order to do this, you are going to have a little bit of an audit of yourself and understand yourself and when you have the most energy and when you have the least energy. If you work a full-time job and you are finding that you just don't have any time for yourself, and even the time that you do have for yourself and people say like, oh, you can make time, blah blah blah, you can make time for what you want to happen, you might simply not have the energy to do it if you've had a long day in the office. I know what that feels like. It is exhausting. So you need to get really crystal clear about when your energy levels are the highest and when they are the lowest. So let's say, for example, for me, my energy levels are the highest in the mornings. I did get really frustrated, like I was getting really frustrated the past like few weeks because I was thinking, right, my energy is so good right now and I want to pour that into myself. I want to pour that into YouTube and ideas and journaling and all that kind of stuff and filming. But I couldn't do that because I would have all this energy, but I would have to get ready and go to work, and it was really pissing me off. So I had to put a solution in place of waking up earlier again, of having a 5 a.m. morning routine again, which obviously comes with its sacrifices. It obviously means that I have to go to sleep a little bit earlier. But I just know for me that my energy is the highest in the morning and I have more inspiration and motivation to pour into myself in the morning. So why would I not wake up earlier to give myself that time to start the day? And also, if you work a full-time job and it's something that you don't particularly like, and maybe you're in quite a low-level admin kind of job, I would highly recommend that you not give as much to that job as what you are giving. If you're anything like me, you might be a little bit of a people pleaser and you might want to overachieve and you want to prove yourself to everyone and you want to do the best work possible, which is an amazing trait to have. But if you are giving that energy constantly to a job that you don't like, you are bound to feel so depleted when you get home on the evening. And then that's when you go to your vices. That's when you go to TikTok and comfort eating and all that kind of shit. We don't want that anymore. We want to be preserving our energy as much as possible. And if you are a sensitive person, you will know that you don't have as much energy as other people have. So these other people who go to the office and they seem to have all of this energy and then they go out on the evenings and they do all these things and they've got all these things going on, they're probably just not as sensitive as a person as you, and they might just naturally have more energy than you do, and that's completely fine. But you've just got to work with what you've got and figure out what is going to work for you. Get to know your energy, get to know when your energy is at the highest and work around that. And that can even be, if you are a woman, you will have different phases of your cycle. So in your follicular and ovulation phase, you might have a lot more energy. That is typically what happens, even though for me, when I'm ovulating, I don't actually have that much energy. I get a little bit deflated, but regardless, there are certain parts of your cycle where you have a bit more energy. So really look into that, really utilize that as much as you can. If you've got things that you need to do and if you've got a list of goals that you want to get done in order to make you into the person who you want to be, you need to get crystal clear of them so you have them in a list, so that when you have these higher energy days, think of them as like magical days where you can just get everything done and you can really pour into yourself. Just get to know yourself, get to know what works best for you, and it's going to be different for everybody. But when you know yourself and your energy levels, you are going to have so much more control of how much you get done, and you're not going to feel like a victim of a 9-to-5 job or whatever job that you're in. You're going to feel empowered and you're going to feel like you have more time and energy. Now, if you do find that you don't have a lot of energy on the evenings after a day at work, I would suggest that rather than turning to your vices, I would suggest maybe going for a walk or doing something that is going to naturally boost your dopamine and make you feel good. I'm really into walking in this season of my life. I love walking, and I'm making it a point to go for a walk or do something like that every single day, because it's just nice to be out in nature. It's nice to get walking. It's really good for you to be walking. Walking is so impactful and amazing. So if you can't really do anything else, if you can't get to the gym or you can't do Pilates classes and stuff like that, walking is your best friend. So going for walks after work, or even if you can't be asked to do that, reading your book, reading a fiction book, reading something that's just going to be a little bit more enjoyable than reading a self-development book, or maybe watching a long movie with your partner and having it be like a nice little experience where you're watching one movie. Maybe it could be cooking a meal. You get the gist, like doing something like that, saving all of your lower energy tasks for the end of the day. It could even be like your gratitude list. You could save that till the end of the day because it doesn't require that much energy. And the third and final tip is to journal and connect with yourself every single day. Listen guys, it is so important for you to be connecting with yourself every day and really checking in with yourself every day. I know for me that I feel the worst when I don't have time for myself, when I don't have time to check in with how I'm feeling and what's going on or what ideas I have and anything like that. If I'm not doing that, I feel terrible. If you are feeling maybe that you're a little bit unmotivated, you're uninspired, you're not feeling the best, I would just start off by giving yourself 15 minutes every single morning to just either brain dump everything that you're thinking and feeling, or if you want to do a more thought out journal practice where you answer prompts and things like that, then go for it. But I do think it is so important to check in with yourself every single day, and also check in with your goals if you already have those established. This video, as you will have gathered, isn't about like set the goals and how to achieve your goals and blah blah blah. This is more so like the mindset. This is how you are going to get into the mindset of the person who creates their dream life. Yeah, journaling, connect with yourself every single day, having some sort of ritual in the morning where you just sit and be with yourself and your cup of tea, and you look out the window and you just look at the sky and the sunrise and do all of that kind of stuff. Or it can be, I don't know, maybe on your commute to work, like not putting on music or not putting on a podcast and actually just being with yourself. Something that I really love to do, and it's been very medicinal for me the past few days when I've been having a mental breakdown because I've been so busy. But something that I like to do is to get my phone and put it on my little car holder thing, press record on the camera, and I will just vent. I will get everything off my chest. I mean, you don't necessarily need to vent. You don't need to be angry to do this, but I find that's the times that I really want to do it, because I just want to let it all off my chest before I go into the office and have to pretend to be civilized. But it just helps me so much. It makes me feel like I'm being seen and heard if I feel like no one else around me maybe has the time to listen to me, or I've just not had time to check in with people. It's just so therapeutic to talk to yourself, and the act of recording it makes you feel like there is a meaning to it. You're not just talking for no reason, you're gonna forget it. I like to record it because I like to kind of keep a log of my moods and how I feel over time, so that I can look back on it and seek reassurance in knowing that everything always works out, everything is always fine. But this is something that is really, really crucial and important for me. If you are not checking in with yourself, you are gonna fall into that rut. You're gonna feel uninspired. You're gonna feel like you don't know where you're going in life, like you don't have a plan. You've got to check in with yourself. I hope you guys are all doing amazing. If you are struggling with kind of stepping into gear and you're feeling like this transition from summer to autumn is a little bit crazy, it's giving depression, it's giving seasonal depression, just know that I have got you. It is absolutely fine. There is a lady across the road staring at me. We're all going through it right now, and you are not alone, trust me. Let me know in the comments what you guys are trying to manifest into your life. What are you trying to bring into your existence? What are your goals? What are you aiming to achieve by 2025? Or how are you wanting to show up in the world come 2025? These are all things we need to start thinking about now, so that we can get ahead of the curve and that we can feel like we are getting ahead of 99% of people. It's always good to get ahead, and I want to support you every step along the way of it, because it's such a potent time right now. It is such a time of growth and expansion and kind of hibernation and deaths and rebirths and all of that beautiful stuff that we call life. life. I love you so, so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!